cities around the world have long been defined by how we choose to get around. For decades, cars have been the dominant force shaping urban landscapes, with highways, wide roads, and sprawling parking lots. But as we face growing concerns about climate change, pollution, and traffic congestion, there's been a push to rethink our reliance on cars. This has led to a battle between bikes and cars for the future of our cities. Let's explore how two iconic cities, Amsterdam and Los Angeles, represent opposite sides of this urban struggle. Amsterdam is often seen as the gold standard for bike-friendly cities. But it wasn't always this way. In the 1950s and 60s, Amsterdam, like many other cities, was moving towards a car-centric future. Cars flooded the streets, and cycling was in decline. However, a dramatic shift happened in the 1970s. By the early 1970s, the number of cars in the Netherlands had skyrocketed, and road safety was a major issue. In 1971 alone, over 3,000 people died in traffic accidents, including 400 children. This sparked widespread protests, with groups like Stop de Kindermoord, Stop the Child Murder, leading the charge for safer streets. The oil crisis of 1973 further fueled the shift, as fuel prices surged, prompting the government to promote cycling as a cost-effective alternative. Thanks to grassroots activism and government support, Amsterdam invested heavily in cycling infrastructure. Today, 38% of all trips in Amsterdam are made by bike, and there are over 515 kilometers, 320 miles, of bike lanes throughout the city. The city also boasts 881,000 bicycles, outnumbering its 821,000 residents. Cyclists are given priority on many roads, and car traffic is often restricted or slowed to accommodate them. Cycling in Amsterdam saves the city €19 million annually in health costs, thanks to reduced pollution and increased physical activity. Additionally, cycling has significantly lowered the city's carbon footprint. In 2019, cycling in the Netherlands was estimated to prevent the emission of around 1.41 million tons of CO2 each year. That's the equivalent of taking 250,000 cars off the road. While Amsterdam is a success story, Los Angeles represents the other side of the spectrum. Built with the car in mind, LA is known for its sprawling freeways and car culture. But as traffic congestion worsens and environmental concerns rise, the city is trying to make room for bikes. Los Angeles has the highest car ownership rate in the US, with nearly 2.5 million cars registered in the city. The average Angelino spends around 119 hours per year stuck in traffic, costing the city $9.3 billion in lost productivity annually. This car-centric infrastructure leaves little room for bikes, and as of 2023, only 1% of all trips in Los Angeles are made by bicycle. In recent years, Los Angeles has tried to reverse its dependence on cars. The 2010 LA Bike Plan aimed to add 1,684 miles of bikeways by 2035. However, progress has been slow. As of 2023, the city had built only 700 miles of bike lanes, often facing resistance from drivers and local businesses. For example, when the city installed bike lanes on Westwood Boulevard, it faced backlash from motorists concerned about losing parking spaces. The push for more bike-friendly infrastructure in Los Angeles has led to some successes, such as the Expo Line bike path, which spans 12 miles and connects key neighborhoods. However, the city still struggles to match the bike infrastructure of cities like Amsterdam or even Portland, where 7% of all trips are made by bike. Despite the challenges, increasing bike use in LA could have huge benefits. If just 5% of all car trips were replaced with bike trips, the city could reduce CO2 emissions by over 2,000 tons annually. It would also help improve air quality in a city that often ranks among the worst in the US for pollution. The battle between bikes and cars isn't just limited to Amsterdam and Los Angeles. Cities around the world are grappling with this challenge. Often cited alongside Amsterdam as one of the world's most bike-friendly cities, Copenhagen aims to be carbon neutral by 2025. Currently, 62% of residents commute by bike daily, and the city has invested over €200 million in cycling infrastructure since 2005. The Cycle Superhighways project connects the city center with the suburbs, encouraging even more residents to cycle instead of drive. Bogota has implemented ciclovia, where 120 kilometers of streets are closed to cars every Sunday, allowing cyclists, pedestrians, and skaters to take over. This initiative has inspired cities like New York and Mexico City to adopt similar programs. Bogota also boasts over 550 kilometers of dedicated bike lanes, showing that bike culture can thrive even in car-dominated regions. In China, bike-sharing programs have exploded in popularity. Companies like Mobike and Ofo flooded cities with millions of bikes, resulting in 70 million daily bike trips at the peak of the trend. While the bike-sharing boom has since cooled, cities like Beijing and Shanghai are investing heavily in dedicated bike lanes to reduce car congestion. The battle between bikes and cars is far from over. Cities around the world are recognizing the need to shift away from car dependency to more sustainable, healthier modes of transportation. Amsterdam shows us that with the right policies and infrastructure, a city can transform itself into a bike paradise. Meanwhile, Los Angeles demonstrates the challenges of retrofitting a car-centric city for bikes. As we face the pressing issues of climate change, pollution, and urban congestion, the choice between bikes and cars becomes more than just a matter of preference, it's a question of survival for our cities. The future of urban transportation may well depend on finding the right balance between these two modes, prioritizing sustainability, and designing cities that are not only efficient but also livable.